Shalom. All praises, blessings, glories, and honors to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Racha Kwadash, and double honors to my elder apostles and bishop elders of Great Millstone, who taught me this truth, as well of men of like mind. Shalom wa chasad, which means peace and mercy to the elect of the nation of Israel, whom are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of the seed line of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. And to you I say Shalom, beginning with the 144,000 prophets, and Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai willing. This lesson is edifying and informative. In the news from the CNN, Trump will pull U.S. out of NATO if he wins election, ex-advisor warns. Published today, Monday, February 12th, 2024, The Hopeful Year of Jacob's Trouble by Jim Shuto, if I pronounced his last name correctly, of the CNN. As U.S. allies reel from Donald Trump's weakened comments encouraging Russia to attack European allies if they don't meet NATO budget contribution goals, multiple former Trump advisors warn in my upcoming book that the former president will seek to formally withdraw the U.S. from the NATO alliance if he wins a second term. In The Return of Great Powers, which will be published March 12th, a former senior U.S. official who served in both the Trump and Biden administrations at a high level told me that if Trump defeats President Joe Biden in November, the U.S. will be out of NATO. Let's hear what Trump said about NATO countries and Russia.
We come from a long line of cowboys. When I see all of us out here on this ranch, I see how far our legacy can go.
One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay.
There you have the former president of the United States saying he would encourage Russia to do whatever the hell they want. I mean, who knows whether or not that scenario he laid out at the rally even happened or is true. But Gary, what do you think of Trump openly saying that Russia can go ahead and invade NATO allies, NATO countries?
I think we should believe him. I've been always saying that we have to listen to dictators or would-be dictators and trust them. Trump doesn't want to hide his intentions to challenge the entire system, democratic system in the United States, to make it more authoritarian. And of course, he'll be looking for friends that think alike. And Vladimir Putin is the first who comes into mind.
And so this report, in addition to previous others, will contribute to one of the many leading reasons why the 10 horns and collectively the allies of NATO and the EU will hate the whore, which is America, Babylon the Great. For as it is written here in Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, and the 10 horns, which represents the EU, which thou sawest upon the beast, and the beast is the pagan Roman Empire, which came back in the form of NATO and the EU, with America being an extension of that empire. These shall hate the whore, which is America, Babylon the Great, that rise upon the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, and shall make her desolate by way of thermonuclear missiles being shot from their respective country to America, Babylon the Great, during the Third World War, and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And so America's allies, that comprises both the NATO and the EU, will burn her with fire through thermonuclear destruction. And so this includes the report on CNN. In other reports from the RT, the NATO chief condemns Trump threat. The former U.S. president said he would refuse to defend members of the alliance who fails to pay their defense bills. Former U.S. President Donald Trump's disparaging comments about NATO members' failure to meet their military spending commitments put the whole alliance at risk. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg warned in a statement on Sunday. Speaking at a rally in South Carolina on Saturday, Trump suggested that such countries should not receive U.S. protection in the event of an attack. Stoltenberg responded, "Any suggestion that allies will not defend each other undermines all of our security, including that of the U.S., and puts American and European soldiers at increased risk," reiterating that the bloc remained ready and able to defend all allies. Any attack on a NATO member country would trigger a united and forceful response, Stoltenberg pledged. His expectations will be met with many frustrations, that regardless of who wins the presidential election, the U.S. will remain a strong and committed NATO ally. Well, not according to Nero, because his plan is to withdraw the U.S. from NATO, which will definitely contribute to many of the reasons why they'll hate the whore, according to biblical prophecy. He added, during his rally speech, Trump recalled a past conversation with the leader of an unnamed NATO state who supposedly asked what would happen if defense spending targets were not being met. And an external attack occurred. "He didn't pay? You're a delinquent?" the former president said, recalling his response. "No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage Russia to do whatever the hell they want. You gotta pay. You gotta pay your bills." NATO members pledged in 2014 to spend 2% of their GDP on defense by 2025. Just 10 of the bloc's 30 countries had met those obligations as of 2023, with 13 spending 1.5% of GDP or less, according to the alliance's own estimates. While much of the media discussion on Trump's supposed threat framed it as a challenge to the Baltic states and Poland, Warsaw, in fact, led the bloc in defense contributions relative to the size of its economy last year, spending 3.9% of its GDP, more than Washington's 3.49%. Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia all spent over 2% last year as well. placing them well out of reach of any threatened lapse in mutual defense under another Trump presidency. Following the former U.S. leader's remarks, however, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk expressed concern about the hot water at his country's border with Ukraine, questioning whether the U.S. would show full solidarity with other NATO members, or rather countries, in their confrontation that promises to last for a long time with Russia. But really, this confrontation is between the U.S. and Russia, but it is being fought in the form of a proxy war between the Ukraine and Russia. His words echoed Stoltenberg's own in an interview with the German media outlet Die Welt on Sunday, in which the NATO chief urged members to ramp up arms production to wartime levels in order to prepare for a confrontation with Moscow that could last decades. And he did make that statement because there is an article that emphasizes his statement in the form of a headline. It says, Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly denied his country is interested in attacking any NATO country, including Poland and the Baltics. Last week, he told journalist Tucker Carlson it was instead Western governments trying to intimidate their own population with an imaginary Russian threat. This concludes the article. In other reports, also from the RT, farmers bring Poland to standstill. Demonstrations have been staged across the country, demanding an end to the flow of cheap Ukrainian production. Traffic in cities and towns across Poland was severely obstructed on Friday as farmers staged protests over what they considered to be unfair competition from cheap Ukrainian produce, as well as the EU's green policies. Over the past few months, Polish agricultural workers have also repeatedly blocked the border with Ukraine. The month of January saw similar demonstrations in other EU nations, including Germany, France, and the Netherlands, over Brussels' climate policies, which have led to fuel price hikes. German farmers have been demanding that Chancellor Olaf Scholz reverse the proposal scrapping of a diesel fuel subsidy worth as much as £3,000, equivalent to 3,000 euros, equivalent to $3,260 annually. The authorities in neighboring France withdrew plans to cut similar subsidies after farmers blocked a major highway near Paris last month. Organized by the Solidarity Trade Union, Friday's protests affected around 260 localities across Poland, with thousands of farmers blocking or slowing down traffic with tractors and other heavy machinery. They also blocked several borders crossing with Ukraine. Several highways leading to the capital, Warsaw, were congested as a result of the demonstration, local police reported. In a statement released ahead of the protest last week, Solidarity said it was planned to set up road blockages until March the 10th. Damn. The trade union called out the Polish government for readily accepting the EU's guidelines and the import of agricultural produce and food products from Ukraine. The protesters also called the position adopted by Brussels at the latest EU summit unacceptable. And I will conclude reading the article here as the point has already been read. The farmers are bringing Poland to a standstill. In other reports, as I referenced earlier, prepare for conflict with Russia in 5 years, German general. Shipping giant issues warning over global supply chain. Syria ready for wars with Israel. Disruptions in the Red Sea could last for up to a year, according to Japan's Mitsui-Osk lines. The disruptions to global supply chains caused by the ongoing tensions in the Red Sea could last for a year, Japanese shipping giant Mitsui-Osk Lines MOL has warned. Major players in the shipping industry, including MAL, have temporarily stopped using the Suez Canal, a critical maritime trade route connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea and a vital sea lane for energy and cargo between Asia and Europe. This followed dozens of drone and missile attacks carried out by the Yemen-based Houthi rebels in the Red Sea since the beginning of the Israeli-Hamas war in October. It's a historic event, MAL President Takashi Hashimoto said in an interview with Bloomberg, referring to the transit halt by shipping operations. The situation will continue to at least for the coming 2 or 3 months. Maybe he had meant to say last. And at worst case scenario, 6 months or 1 year. He noted, MAL is one of the world's largest ship operators with a fleet of around 800 vessels. There are currently enough ships available to weather the disruption, according to Hashimoto. However, if the global economy were to suddenly grow and demand for goods increased, there would be a shortage of shipping capacity, he warned. Freight through the Suez Canal has been plummeting since the Houthi attacks forced shipping companies to divert shipments, sending shockwaves through global supply chains. On Tuesday morning, Houthi rebels fired projectiles at 2 commercial vessels, striking one of them, and this includes the article. So a lot of things are going on out there in the world, and the Lord is continuously increasing the heat. In other reports, there's been reports of certain plagues and diseases springing out and about. So, we're keeping an eye on these things. And I'll conclude the lesson here. Abu has been edifying and informative to the elect. As is written in the book of Ezekiel, 7th chapter, evils and only evils is coming. The end is come. The end is coming to watch if thee, behold, it is come. So we're at the end. Okay? So we're going to start to see a lot more things transpire that shows that we are, in fact, living in the end of this man's age. And so with that, I say shalom to the elect until the next Lord's willing. Shalom.